Just where do the parties plan to spend your money? All the issues.
All the angles.
The general election. All on the BBC.
You want to come with me? I got the flight a bit wrong. It's 1869. It's not Naples. It's Cardiff.
We've got another one!
We're under some mesmeric influence.
No, we're not. The dead of war.
Doctor Who. Tonight at 7 on BBC One.
There are two sides to every MotoGP rider. There's a side that loves to risk his life, overtaking at 200 miles per hour with just millimetres between him and the tarmac. Then there's the crazier, wilder, more reckless side. The most exciting motorsport in the world. MotoGP, the season starts tomorrow at 12:20 on BBC Two.
Here on BBC One now, live to Aintree for coverage of the Grand National, introduced by Sue Barker and Claire Balding.
You'd be a fool to think this is any old horse race. It's not. It's a national event. A grand national event.
Come on! Redburn wins the national! Principal has fallen, Northern has fallen, there's a right pile up. Absolutely flying down the outside. It might be another one for Ginger
McCain. This jockey's changing room will be buzzing as 39 men prepare for the most famous journey in racing. Anticipation, excitement, a dash of bravado, and a twist of nerves. The heart rate will quicken and the palms will dampen, but they will tease each other, laugh and joke to hide the nerves, swap stories of past falls and thrilling leaps, wish each other good luck and mean it. They are in this together, this mad, merry band of brothers.
But in here, just one woman will pull on her breeches and silks. In silence, she'll visualise the long run to the first, remember the thrill of jumping those fences. And when she walks into the paddock, she'll look her husband in the eye, knowing that this is their moment. As she gets the leg up on Forrest Gunner, she'll do so with the best chance any woman has ever had of winning the Grand National. Could Carrie Ford provide the greatest Aintree story ever?
Winning the greatest steeplechase of all is a prize that has eluded many of the biggest names in racing, including the man who has dominated the sport in recent years, Tony McCoy. Can he win it at the 10th time of asking on the much-fancied Clan Royal? What a story it would be if this was Tony's time to triumph.
Or could Ginger McCain become the first trainer to make it 5. He won it 3 times with the Great Red Rum. He did it again last year with Amberley House, who lines up this year at the age of 13. Now, Ginger is a man who's never short of a word or 3. His latest offering, that horses ridden by women can't win the Grand National. So will Ginger be red with ecstasy or red with embarrassment?
At around 4:20, we will know the answer. One horse and rider will make their victorious return to the winner's enclosure, but they'll be doing so for the last time. This year we say a fond farewell to this famous Aintree landmark. But what memories we have treasured over the years. The emotional return of so many heroes. So one final chapter will unfold before the curtain falls, or should I say the diggers move in. This enclosure will be demolished and completely rebuilt as the wheel of time moves in the direction of modernisation.
It may be all change for the bricks and mortar around Aintree, but some things are sacred. The 30 fences and 4.5 miles of glorious turf. The big drop at Beecher's Brook. The right angle bend at the canal turn that swings the field left-handed. The height and breadth of the chair, and that long, long run-in. All these will remain untouched, because when the course produces this kind of drama, why change it?
Welcome to another glamorous event of national importance. The 166-year-old steeplechase is more than a sporting event, it is a special occasion. And the magic of Aintree has attracted record crowds here to the course once again. Even the few showers that we've had earlier on certainly haven't dampened the spirits. And millions of people will be watching on television around the world. Because wonderful stories with fairy tale endings have unfolded here over the years. And as you've already heard in the John Smith's Grand National, there is the potential for another emotional outcome this afternoon. We could all be carried away by one courageous mum. She won over the national fences a year ago, said it was easier than childbirth, and she should know. The last grey won in 61, the last Scottish winner in 79. The last woman to train a winner was 10 years ago. Strong Resolve and Lucinda Russell could change all 3. Well, here's a man who hasn't endeared himself to the ladies recently. Controversy aside, Ginger McCain is the most successful Aintree specialist. Ginger and Amberley House go for back-to-back victories. Tony McCoy has won it all bar one, this one. He said this is his best chance ever on the aptly named Clan Royal. Grand National has a habit of being topical. And if Jolly Bay is first past the post, it would be another tearful day for the Gifford family, just as it was when Nitty triumphed back in 1981. So we are going to begin our build-up now to the big race. Our team are in place, and first we're going to join Claire and Scoo, who are in the loose box area.
Well, I've come down to the saddling boxes, and right behind me, this is Forrest Gunner being saddled up away there through the crowd. You might just be able to make out Carrie Ford. She's come out of the lady jockey's changing room to help her husband Richard put the saddle on, check everything's in order. John and Barbara Gilsenan, who own the horse, they're here as well, along with all their friends. And so far, Forrest Gunner behaving perfectly well, looks very relaxed. Kevin Pearson is the guy who's going to lead him up in the race, who actually retired from working for the Fords to become an electrician. And the one thing they're worried about is the parade, because the horse is quite buzzy. He's never been in the parade before, so let's hope he stays as cool as this.
Well, I'm in the jockey's weighing room. You saw earlier on when Sue was in there how quiet it was, but now it's busy. Now there are lots of men preparing to ride. Carl Llewellyn has been out there, done it before. Carl, just tell us, for someone like you who's been out there and done it on Vindery, party politics, sorry, not on Vindery, Jim Collins, but obviously on Earth Summit and party politics, what thoughts are going through your head now before the big race? Well, we've all got our own little plan, which we've worked out by now. Basically, if you're just looking to get the plan right on the day, and if everything go right, hope for no bad luck, really. What about Vindery's chances? The rain has helped. It'll make it more of a stamina test. The more of a slog, the better for him. He's in great form, so he's one of the ones with a chance. OK. We'll just grab a quick word with Tony McCoy, who's just behind us. Maybe you can even see yourself on screen. It's a surreal moment for you. We heard that this is your 10th attempt now at the Grand National. How are you feeling about it?
You saying I haven't got hungry yet, is it? What was that, Shane? They love making fun of me, so they do. Turn that down, will you?
Do those jockeys who've won it before, do they take the mick and do they go, come on, one day you will win it, or do they go, you'll never win it?
Yeah, well, there is rumours that Carl Llewellyn has a good chance of winning it when he's 48, the way he's going. So, again, no, obviously the Grand National is the biggest horse race in the world, so, you know, every jockey wants to win it, and obviously, hopefully have a few more years to have a go at it yet, but it'd be nice if Cranwell could win it this year.
People say that you're the man of steel. Do you get nervous?
I don't think any of the jockeys riding the Grand National will get nervous, but I don't think any of them will tell you that they don't get a little feeling in their stomach of excitement, and you do look forward to it. It is different than any other race, but if you're nervous, then you shouldn't be going out.
AP, fingers crossed for you. Good luck.
Thanks.
This is the bit I just love, the build-up to the Grand National and being able to get this close to the horses. This is the favourite, Hedgehunter, being saddled up. Willie Mullins is just on the far side. The horse got to the last fence last year. Looked like he was going to get placed and just, sadly, tumbled at the very last. Willie Mullins has never had a horse complete the National, but he'll try and do it today. Peter Scudamore is here, part of our team, of course, but also with a job to do.
Yes, Kelly Baker, who's turned out Astonville beautifully, is stood by his head here. My son, Michael, is going to tack him up. Now, the weights of this race go from 10.5 to 11.12. This horse is 10.13, so the jockey, Brian Crowley, will be about a body weight of 10 stone because he's got quite a big saddle. Here he has a soft pad go on just to stop him being rubbed. And then the unlucky number for some, number 13. I was born on Friday the 13th, so that's a lucky number for me. And I'm hoping it'll prove lucky this afternoon. You can see the horse is fairly relaxed. You can just have a look here. He's got a lovely shiny coat. He's got boots on his legs there just to protect him from knocking himself. He's got a rubber bridle on his mouth here just to stop anything cutting his mouth too much. He's got a cross nose band on there because the horses should breathe through their nose, not through their mouth. And here they're putting on a breast girth here. This will stop the saddle slipping at all if it's... the fences brush the girth back at all. You can see that the horse here is just getting a little bit on his toes, but basically he's fairly relaxed. They're just making the final alterations there, and the girth's coming through now.
Well, someone having their first ride in the Grand National today, but not the first time over the national fences, is Peter Buchanan. Peter, first of all, you were the man who's been on board Forest Gunner for most of this season. Are there any regrets about not being on board today?
Well, of course, Forest Gunner has the experience around here, you know. I was lucky enough to ride him in November in the Grand Sefton, and he gave me such a thrill around there, you know. He jumps super, he's tailor-made for around here, you know. That's the only worry about my lad. It's his first run over the big fences, so we'll have to see how he takes to them.
Do you think you can beat Forest Gunner?
Well, let's hope so, you know.
Peter, good luck.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Well, down here in the saddling boxes once again, we've got a real superstar here being saddled up behind us. Amberley House, winner of the race last year, trained, of course, by Ginger McCain. Everybody wishing you well, Ginger?
Yes, everybody's been absolutely super, actually. It's a pity we couldn't get the filling out the horse's legs.
Is he just a little bit swollen, is he?
He's very sore.
Oh, go on, you. Don't start saying that.
I will tell you this. I have never, ever had him fitter. Really? Truly. He's a very, very fit horse indeed. I'm delighted with him. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. He's a lovely horse, and I honestly think he's fitter than we have ever had him.
And Ginger, we saw you earlier giving a bunch of flowers to Carrie Ford. Wishing her well?
Well, they're now on Redrum's grave. That was only a bullshit job, wasn't it?
Typical. He's trying to make up to her for having said what he said.
Yes, I do.
I can see your wife, Beryl, and she's looking at you going, please don't get him talking about that
I do wish her
again.
well. She's grand. She's a great lass, and good luck to her.
OK, well, good luck to you as well. Good luck. They had all sorts of superstars supporting them as well, because John Hailwood, the owner of Amberley House, has got Cliff Richard and Cilla Black and also Gloria Hunniford up in his box. But it's really buzzing down here, and you can see the various horses still being saddled, but Rishi is still in the jockey's room.
Yes, Claire, it's a little bit quiet in here. I think there might be one or two nerves going around, but I tell you what, David Dunstan still had the confidence to be talking to me about cricket just a few minutes ago. David, surely there are one or two nerves and butterflies in the stomach?
Well, no. I mean, it's just good fun, really. It's you just treat it as any other race. You're just going out to ride in a race. The fact you might be ending up in Liverpool General quite shortly afterwards is obviously an added factor, but it's just a race, really.
Well, let's touch wood that you won't. What about your horse, Jolly Bay, the horse that you own? You got him as a present. Can you do it?
Yeah, of course I think so. Yeah, and the horse is very well. We've been really happy with his preparation recently. Last week he's been very well. The only slight concern is, I haven't been completely in love with this rein recently. but it's it's a unique race, and all you can do is take your chance and hope that you have some luck.
David, best of luck.
Thank you.
Even with half an hour to go, I can't be certain what's going to be the John Smith's national favourite. And I would imagine at the moment that Hedgehunter, who currently heads the market, is going to go off, I would think, at least joint favourite. Let's have a look at the current prices on all the runners. Hedgehunter heads the market at 9-1 from 10-1. Clan Royal is 10-1. The money for Forest Gunner, it could still start either favourite or joint favourite under Carrie Ford, bidding to be the first woman to win the race, of course. Strong Resolve, a bad result for William Hill, that one, 11-1. That's very solid. Take the Stand is 16-1, and good support here on the track for Neil Desperandum, 16-1. Jolly Bay is 18-1. Inox, good support for that one. Colonel Rayburn, that's popular. Spot the Difference is one at 25-1. Ad Hoc, there's money for that one. Richard Pittman's tip, 40-1 into 33-1. There's significant support for one or two of these outsiders as well. And Simply Gifted, 50-1 from 80-1. A note of that one, big support for that one. Monty's Pass will up there, 40-1. The conditions may have gone against that one. Now we're on to the real rank outsiders. You'll be rich if you back the winner of the National, and it's one of these, including Native Emperor at 100-1 and Aston Veal, the rank outsider, at 250-1.
Well, this is Monty's Pass, the horse you've seen who's on the drift in the betting. He won it 2 years ago, finished fourth under a big weight last year, but I know his trainer Jimmy Mang has just been a little bit concerned about him.
Yeah, I pulled out a little bit stiff this morning, but the vets have examined him well and they're happy enough, and I'm happy. So unfortunately the ground has gone soft, clear, you know.
And have you just told Barry to look after him?
That's the main thing, once he comes back safe. Yeah. It's his fourth consecutive year over the big fences, and he's never left us down, so the main thing is once he comes back in one piece.
Absolutely, let's hope he comes home safe and sound. That's Monty's Pass. We've already heard from two first-time jockeys, Peter Buchanan, who's going to be riding Strong Resolve for the first time in the National, and also David Dunstan, who's going to be riding Jolly Bay for the first time in the National. Can you two, I mean, you two have done it, Richard and Norman. Can you remember your first ride?
Oh, very much so. I fell at the third fence on Dorrimont for Bill Shankid, and it's awful. You want the race to stop and start again. Hey, wait for me, boys. I want to be in there.
How about you, Norman? What happened to you?
I got around, but I remember it well, and it's a fascinating day. The whole buzz of the day is something else. You know, you really, if you don't feel something today, you're in the wrong job. But I remember one year I was having a buzz. It was probably my second year riding it, and I said to John Short, I said, how'd you get on when I came back in all buzzing? And he said, brilliant. He said, fell at the first, not a bother. That was it. You know, that's the way you go out when you're riding it 7 or 8 years. You don't really want to ride in it, Barry, for a good ride. You know, there's no point going down and falling at the first, but the first year for them young guys riding is absolutely brilliant.
And the horses are coming into the parade ring behind us, so they're all getting into the order, and this is the time where the nerves really come into play.
Well, you can see they're almost double parked there, aren't they? I mean, 40 runners, it is quite something. But the whole parade, the build-up is so long, it's longer than any other race, that it can get to some horses.
It can get to them, but I also think it can get to them, but it can actually get them peaked at the right time. You know, you see horses getting warm at the start, and it just gets them buzzed up, and the whole day gets them buzzed up.
I wonder what about the ground, Lydia? It looks as if it's opened up. It has changed from this morning.
You would think so. It looked from our, I know it's a different track, but it looked from our earlier races that the rain had definitely got into the ground, and it was the same with the national course. What's your view, Norman?
Yeah, it'll certainly be on the slow side, and it walked slow this morning down by the canal turn, but I think perfect safe jumping ground, and that's fair for all.
Yeah.
Well, Peter Scudamore and I have come into the paddock, and Skew, the biggest horse here, bar none, is Colonel Rayburn.
I was nearly trodden on him as I came into the paddock here. I wouldn't want him standing on my side, on my toes. He's party politics size. We saw party politics in the pre-parade beforehand, but this is a massive horse, and if we can just have a look at his mouth, he's what we call a parrot mouth. He's just turning away, but what means there, you can see him, his bottom lip is underneath his top lip, which sometimes means that they don't eat so well, but it hasn't stopped Colonel Rayburn. He's eaten plenty and grown plenty.
He's not the prettiest in the field, that's for sure, but looks don't win Grand Nationals. Bravery does. Massive amount of people in the paddock. It's often very difficult for the jockeys to try and find the trainers that they're riding for. But over here, surrounded by friends, is the trainer of Strong Resolve. She's called Lucinda Russell. She's based up in Scotland. The last female trainer, in fact, the only female trainer to win the National, was Jenny Pittman. The last Scottish horse to win the National was in 1979. Her jockey, Peter Buchanan, is having his very first ride in the race. But Lucinda, I know, is very cool and calm about it. Plenty of supporters she's got in kilts. You're all Scottish supporters. Yeah? For Lucinda. Lucinda, can I just grab a word? Now, I rather think that you've been enjoying all this build-up, haven't you?
It's been good. I got a little bit stressed at the start of the week, but I'm much happier now.
And one of the things that we were saying earlier in the year is that you quite often get mistaken for Carrie Ford, and you don't mind that?
Well, today I've been signing race cars, I've been doing lots of things, and I keep
pretending to be her or pretending to be you?
Well, I sort of look at them and I go, you know, I am Lucinda Russell. Oh, yes, of course, that everyone says, so I sign it Lucinda Russell, but I think I've ruined all these race cars with, 40 jockeys and one trainer.
Well, a lot of people are looking out for your horse. He's very easy to spot, he's grey, and actually, this trip should really suit him. We know he stays.
Yes, all I'm worried about is the first fence. As soon as we're over the first, that's just great, and I think he'll enjoy it. He's a little bit wound up earlier on, but he seems better now.
And has Peter? It's his first ride in the race, isn't it?
Yeah, he's just very laid back. I think he's just looking forward to it.
OK, well, I hope you enjoy yourselves. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
There is Strong Resolve, who finished second in the Welsh National behind Silver Birch, and this rain, Norman, is really going to be good news for him.
Yeah, certainly got a chance, and he's a sound jumper, and he's won over all types of trips, but he really needs a test of stamina, and his young rider Peter Buchanan is doing really well.
Do you know, he is so brave and bold. He will capture people's hearts because he will attack these fences and really enjoy every minute of it.
Absolutely, you would hope that Peter Buchanan will have a super ride.
Couldn't wish for a better first ride.
Certainly couldn't. He's going to jump really well, and his form got Frank yesterday as well in the top. And now there is the title holder, Amberley House. He's an Aintree specialist in the absolute sense. He always runs well around here.
I stood into him, in his stable the other day, and he is small. He doesn't look it there. Sian, who looks after him, is Donald McCain's wife, Donald McCain Jr. But look at him. He's jig-jogging. He is right.
So there is Amberley House, just enjoying himself, the title holder. And Graham Lee was his winning rider last year, and he told us exactly how it felt to win it.
Disbelief, relief. It's quite hard to put into words, and I probably won't appreciate it properly until I've maybe packed up. I don't know, but when you go back and you see the history on the board of, you look at all the great horses that have won it in 2004. I'll see Amberley House and G. Lee and I'll go, nah. But it's in the record books, and very thankful for that.
And Graham Lee will be having his third ride in the race today, and they're all the boys lining up. Norman, you remember doing this, your photograph before the race.
Yeah, it's funny, these moments up to the race. You have the guys who never speak in the weigh room will be shouting and screaming and messing, and the guys that are noisy are gone very quiet. And
is that a sign of nerves, a change of characteristics?
It certainly is. People just want to know what's going to happen.
Well, there are all the jockeys lining up for that ritual of the photograph, but Brian Gleeson has got possibly a nervous trainer with him now, Willie Mullins, who trained Hedgehunter, who ran so well last year until falling at the last.
Yes, the excitement is building here in the parade ring, the tension. Willie Mullins, are you nervous?
Well, I think we've done everything we can. It's up to Ruby and Hedgehunter now. The horse seems in good form. Just on the gallop this morning, he was much stronger than he was last year. He seems relaxed enough. He always sweats a little bit before a race. He's doing that, but we're happy that everything is best as we can get it.
Of course, the Mullins family, synonymous in national hunt racing and jump racing. Your dad and mum are here. It's a big day for the Mullins family. You're training the national favourite.
The last time we had a national favourite, unfortunately, was Miko's Dream. Went at the first. These things happen in the national. If we can get one fence further than last year and maybe get into the money, we'd be delighted.
But he's in very good form.
Seems in good form. Ruby is riding well. You just need a lot of luck in this race. Looking at Clan Royal, the way he ran last year, he's going to be a big danger. I think Strong Resolve with Peter Buchanan on board, he's one I'm afraid of. It's open enough. The 8 or 10 horses down near the bottom of the weights that have a good chance.
Very best of luck.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, I'm not too far away from Brian, and looking in the paddock here, You can see, I mentioned earlier that Gloria Hunniford's in here. You can just see her through there, and she's with the John Hailwood camp. And also Cilla Black is just come this way a little bit. See Cilla Black in the long black fur coat. Cliff Richards down here as well. That's the whole team supporting Amberley House as he tries to win the race for a second year in a row. But Forrest Gunner, the big story. Carrie Ford on board. Richard Ford is here. I'm going to leave him alone because I promised I would. I know he's very nervous. But John Gilsenan and Barbara, his wife, both of them 76 years old, are the owners. How are you bearing up?
Very nervous.
Are you?
Yeah, but I'm excited and it's just wonderful. And I just pray they both come back safe.
Barbara, I asked your husband the other day whether this was the most exciting thing that had ever happened to him in his life, and he said, no, I'd have to say getting married was.
Oh, did he?
What's about for you?
Well, that was quite a day, I admit, but this is a great excitement for us today.
Because when you retired, you had the decision as to whether to get a brand new Mercedes or a racehorse.
Yes. I said, we'd always had Fords, you know. I said, should we buy a
You'd always had Fords, really?
Yeah. I said,
that's too corny for words, isn't it?
No, well, Ford motor cars then.
No, I know.
Anyway, I said, should we buy a decent car, a Mercedes? And Barbara said, why don't you buy a horse? Should we buy a horse? Went up to Reg Cranks and paid £4,000 for him, and he's won 8 races, and he's here. And it's a fairy story.
Well, the horse that they bought is Forrest Gunner, a lovely chestnut. Not very big, but he does the business. Carrie Ford knows him well.
We get there fairly early, have water on the track, and then I shall disappear into the ladies' changing room and just try and keep calm and start to get focused and really dialed in. I'd say it's a fine line between keeping very, very focused, but also enjoying the build-up as well. But at the moment, I feel fine.
So Forrest Gunner, do you think he proved his stamina for this trip at Haydock, Richard?
Well, no, he couldn't have done. That was 3 miles 5. He proved he stayed that distance. The extra horses can get 4 miles, but not get 4.5 sometimes.
Absolutely, and Carrie's biggest problem on him will that he might just run a bit keen over the first couple of miles. He's a confirmed front runner. She'll need to be left alone in front, but a big plus. He's been around here. He jumps super. He's certainly got to have a big chance.
But apart from GA, Lydia, this is the best horse that a girl has had, a woman's had an opportunity to ride.
G. Armitage had a very good chance on GA. Arguably, I think this one might be an even bigger chance.
Well, he'd won at Cheltenham, at the festival, GA.
This horse won at the Fox Hunters last year. Let's see where he features in the betting.
Well, Hedgehunter is beginning to shorten now, and at the moment, you'd have to say, is a good thing to be the favourite for this year's John Smith's Grand National. 8-1, clear market leader. Clan Royal is 10-1, second best, along with Forrest Gunner. There is plenty support for Carry Out around the country, significantly backed, and it would be a desperate result for the bookies if she were to win. Strong Resolve is also popular at 11-1, with Take the Stand at 16-1. Nil Desperandum is one of those outsiders that has been nibbled at from 20-1 into 16-1. Jolly Bay also popular at 16-1, along with Colonel Rayburn, and It Takes Time is 18-1. It's 20-1 bar.
Yes, I'm here in the parade ring. Good money for Nil Desperandum, trained on the Curragh in Ireland by Frances Crowley, of course. Famous name, the Crowley family. She's married to Pat Smullen. How's the horse, Frances?
He's in great form, and he's really starting to liven up now with the crowds and the activity, so fingers crossed everything will go well.
And of course, this horse, Nil Desperandum, is owned by a man called Michael Sean, who sold Little Polvier, winner of the National back in 1989. You sold the horse 6 weeks before he won the National.
Yes, exactly. We had 2 entered in the January. Castle Warden, who went on top. Little Polvier went in the mud. We thought we'd have at least 1 runner. If it was good to soft, perhaps 2. Anyway, some soldiers came along, offering to pay good money for horses that ran in the Grand Military. And the ground was hard as iron, so we thought the obvious one to sell was Little Polvier.
Best of luck with Nil Desperandum.
Thanks very much.
Well, the horse is exiting out onto the track. The nerves are building. There is Jim Cullity on Nil Desperandum. He was tipped. He's in the red colours with the white sleeves. He was tipped to be a top-class chaser in his early days, Norman.
He was a very, very good novice that came back this year early in the season and very well fancied for the Hennessy and didn't run a good race. And it's taken him a long, long time to get his form back. He won last time. He's not a very big horse, but I think he's got to improve again, probably the figure today. But I know Jim Cullity gives him a little chance.
7th ride for Jim. Llewellyn's had the most. This is his 14th. A lot of experienced people in this race.
Jim has obviously won the race before as well on Binderee.
Oh, absolutely, and that was a spare ride, wasn't it? He only got that a couple of days before.
Certainly, and there they are going through. That is no good. Tom Scudamore on board, one of the many.
Polar Red going there. I don't know if he'll quite see this trip out.
There is Strong Resolve. He must have a good chance.
Yes, doesn't he look well? And look for the stripes there. Ballybough, Russia. He was one of yours on your eliminator.
I don't say it's my eliminator. It's just the eliminator. There is Jakari. Now that's mine. That's my tip for the race. So
and
here is Forrest
Carrie.
Gunner.
Look at the way the horse is pulling the bridle and really wants to get on with it. He's getting excited.
Yeah, and looks super in the ring behind us here. He's just how you'd want him. You know, he's trained to the minute.
There he is. Richard Ford, the trainer, husband of Carrie, was walking next to him. There is Le Coudray. He carries the top weight of 11 stone 12. Surely, Norman, that's an impossible task.
Yeah, mind you, he was running a super race last year when falling. I think it was at Beechers. A horse with a huge amount of class, but hasn't shown it this season so far, and pulled up in the Irish National only 10 days ago, or 12 days ago.
Conor O'Dwyer on that one. He's having his 10th ride, and he finished third on Laura's Bow right back in 1992. Look at all these JP McManus horses.
The second favourite, Clan Royal and Tony McCoy, who looks absolutely super. Again, only one run this season, but doesn't he look well?
The man beside the girl leading up here is Father Eddie Cotter, who comes from Lancashire. He's John Joe's good luck mascot.
And he needs a good luck mascot this season, doesn't he? Because he's had a torrid season, Norman. His yard has been ravaged by an illness that they haven't been able to pinpoint.
He has, but which Richard pointed out earlier, Exotic Dancer running so well in the big hurdle race earlier was a pointer that the horses are probably back to form, and going on looks, Clan Royal looks super.
Well, there's Strong Resolve. He's 11 to 1. Forrest Gunner has just gone into 9 to 1 from 10s. 7 to 1. Hedgehunter still the favourite, but there's Strong Resolve, 11 to 1. And John Parrott is talking to his owners now.
Well, if there's great pressure on the horses and the jockeys for a race like this, imagine what it's like to actually have a horse in the race. And here I am with the owners of Strong Resolve. It must be an absolute dream come true just to have a runner.
Absolutely superb. Can't dream about it.
Unbelievable. And the horse has been an absolute credit to you all year.
Total credit. Unbelievable.
Have you backed him?
50 to 1.
I've got 70 to 1 on Betfair.
And you got one?
70's on Betfair.
Yeah. Have you been sleeping at night?
There hasn't been a lot of sleep now. We haven't slept for about, I don't know, a couple of hours every night, but that's a dream come true.
And of course the worst thing about it is you probably don't want the phone going a fortnight before the race. You know, your trainer telling you something's gone wrong. So just to get here on the day is a big thing yourself.
Safe and sound, that's all we want.
But you might cheer if he's in front.
Yeah. We'll bring the house down.
All the best to you boys, all the best.
The Scottish Hopes then are on Strong Resolve, but some of the Irish Hopes on Montes Pass, the 2003 winner, Richard. But we heard this morning that the connections weren't particularly happy with him. They just didn't think he was quite right.
No, in fact, Norman's got the story on that. We'll get to him in a second. It's Gerrit's 6th ride in the race, but this horse has been here 3 times, second in the Beechers, won the National, 4th last year, but the rain will not have helped him. But what's the story on them not being happy, Norman?
The story this morning, first thing I heard when I got to the racecourse is that he had pulled out lame, but he actually didn't pull out lame. He just pulled out a little bit stiff in himself. The vets have checked him over. They're very happy, and Jimmy Mangan knows him better than anyone else. He's happy with him, so he's letting him take his chance. Let's hope he comes back in one piece. But he's certainly, I think the ground has probably gone for him, but he ran a good race last time over hurdles and seems in good form.
And he finished 4th, of course, in this race last year, so he's another horse that loves it round here. Now there's Jolly Bay. We heard earlier from his first time. He's another national virgin, David Dunstan, the jockey there. And Jolly Bay was running really well, running a big race in the Topham over a short course of these national fences last year until the two parted company.
Yes, and that's half the battle, isn't it? Staying in the seat. He's one of the most handsome horses as he turns sideways. Have a look at that. That is a beautiful horse, and he attracted a lot of attention at the sales. And he is one of 8 horses who have their tongues tied down today to enable them to breathe. And in this race, you need to breathe.
He certainly will. He travels well and jumps well, and he'd be an ideal ride, especially for an amateur having his first ride in the race. But he travels well, jumps well. Big worry, he pulled up last time.
Yes, he did his saddle slip, though, at Cheltenham last time, so perhaps he can be forgiven. Next up, another big Irish hope, Colonel Rayburn. Now, it looked like the ground wasn't going to go right for him, Norman, and now the rain has come to help him.
Big Irish hope, and big is the word, because he's by far the biggest horse in the race. He stands over 17 hands high. But ground with the rain this morning, as you said, Lydia, will be a big plus to him. He's got a winning jockey, previous winning jockey with Paul Carberry on him, and Paul Nolan, his trainer, first run in the race.
Well, the horses are all coming together. I think it's time for the big parade for the John Smith's Grand National.
So the 40 runners are now parading in front of the stands for the 2005 John Smith's Grand National. Number 1 is Le Coudray, the mount of 39-year-old Conor O'Dwyer, his 10th ride in the race. This horse was pulled up in the Irish National last time. 2 is Royal Eclair, Christian Williams, his first ride in the race, one of 4 runners for Paul Nicholls. Number 3 is Monty's Pass, ridden by Barry Geraghty, winner of the race in 2003, 4th last year, and trained by Jimmy Mangan. Number 4 is Fonmore, a 2.5-mile specialist, trained by Nicky Henderson and Mick Fitzgerald in the saddle. This will be his 10th ride in the big race. He won it on Rough Quest. Number 5 is Take the Stand, one of 2 runners in the race for Peter Bowen, 2nd in the Cheltenham Gold Cup last time, and a 3rd national ride for Leighton Aspel. Number 6, his stablemate Bally Cassidy, ridden by Seamus Durack. He's having his 6th ride in the race, and Peter Bowen's already won a race today. 7 is Ballybow Russia, ridden by Alan Dempsey. Howard Johnson, who trains the good Grey Abbey. Well, he's not in the race, but this one is. Number 8 is Riscasetta, who's one of 6 runners in the race for J.P. McManus. Christy Roach is saddling this one, and Alan Crowe his first ride in the race. 9 is Bindaree, well, a great Grand National horse. This is his 4th national. He won in 2002, 6th in 2003, and unseated his rider last year. Number 10 is Amberley House, another warrior here around Aintree. Winner of the race last year. This is his 9th run over the big fences and his 4th Grand National. Number 11, Hedgehunter. Fell at the last fence last year when lying 3rd. It was a tired fall, but Ruby Walsh is in the saddle today, and he's won it before on Papillon. 12 is Folly Pleasant, Andrew Thornton, his 10th ride, and Karen Marks has now taken over the training of this Folly Pleasant. 13 is Astonville, who ran twice at the Cheltenham Festival last month, running in the Champion Hurdle and the Gold Cup, a rank outsider, Brian Crowley. 14 is Ad Hoc, who might be the forgotten horse of the race. Joe Tizard in the saddle, his 8th ride, and one of the Paul Nicholls teams. His stablemate is 15, Heroes Collonge. J.P. McNamara having his 5th ride, and Heroes Collonge just might find the ground coming right for him. 16 is Glenelly Gale, the leading amateur in Britain. Tom Greenall taking the ride, his first ride, and Arthur Moore saddling this one. 17 is It Takes Time. Timmy Murphy has preferred this to Lord Atterbury, trained by Martin Pipe and David Johnson, the owner. Number 18 is Clan Royal, another one of the McManus team. Tony McCoy still searching for Aintree Glory, his 10th ride. Number 19, Nil Desperandum, Jim Cullity, who won the race on Bindaree. It's his 7th Grand National ride, and Francis Crowley saddling this one. Number 20, Jolly Bay, bought for $250,000 as a birthday present for his rider David Dunstan. He'll be hoping for a good show. 21 is Jakari, owned by one of the richest men in England, the Earl Cadogan, and trained by Henry Daly. Richard Johnson, his 9th ride. 22 is Frenchman's Creek, Jimmy McCarthy. Frenchman's Creek, a good staying chaser. 23 is No Good, Tom Scudamore, having his 5th ride, this 22-year-old son of Peter Scudamore, grandson of Michael Scudamore. 24 is Paula Red, better known as a hurdler. Tom Malone having his first taste of the Aintree fences on Grand National Day. Number 25 is Double Honour, Paddy Brennan, already won a race today. This is a very versatile grey, representing Philip Hobbs. Number 26, here she is, Carrie Ford. Her first ride in the race. She's won over the big fences, though. She won the Fox Hunters last year, and Richard Ford, her husband, saddles it. 27 is Colonel Rayburn, named after an American Army officer who rode a point-to-point winner at the age of 71, Paul Carberry. 28th is Justin Debt, Tony Dobbin, who's won the race on Lord Galeen. 29, another McManus runner, red cap for Spot the Difference, Robert Power, his first ride. Number 30, Inox, another McManus runner, Robert Thornton taking the ride here as they break away. 31 is the grey Strong Resolve, Peter Buchanan. There he is, bidding to become the first since Rubstick in 79 to win it for Scotland. 32 is Shamawan Shea Barry with a purple cap. There he is, galloping down the track. 33 is Lord Atterbury, Mark Bradburn, who wears the red cap. 3rd last year, Lord Atterbury, and ran a very, very good race. There we watch Shamawan just going down. 34 is Europa, Jason Maguire, his 4th ride in the race. And Ferdy Murphy saddling this one of 2 in the race for Trevor Hemmings. Number 35 is Merchant's Friend. with the cheek pieces. Should be easy to pick up. Noel Feely, a 5th ride for him in the National. 36 is Simply Gifted. Brian Harding, John Joe O'Neill. He's got 4 runners. This is a 66 to 1 chance. 37 is Arctic Copper, one of 9 Irish runners. Noel Mead, the trainer, and Davy Russell in the saddle. Number 39, following him down, the grey Marcus de Burley, came into the field late. Barry Cash, and this was 3rd in the Irish National. Number 40 is L'Aventure, Robbie McAnally, one of the Paul Nicholls team, 66 to 1. And 38 is Native Emperor, Dominic Ellsworth, 3rd ride in the race, and one of the John Joe O'Neill teams. So they are the 40 runners for the 2005 John Smith's Grand National. They've paraded in front of the stands, they've broken away and gone down the course to have a look at the first fence.
It is now almost certain that Hedgehunter is going to be favourite for the Grand National, but just in the last few seconds the money has been pouring on Forrest Gunner to make that not such a certainty. It's 17 to 2 from 8 to 1 from 11s. There is a real public gamble going on behind Carrie Ford, and this would be a colossal gamble if it was landed on Forrest Gunner. Clanroyd is 9 to 1 from 10s. The front 3 have all shortened up, as of the 4th in the betting. Strong Resolve at 10 to 1. All those were bigger prices this morning, but the nation is getting behind this Forrest Gunner, and it's beginning to challenge Hedgehunter for favouritism. Hedgehunter, the favourite for the National, but only just because Carrie is carrying the cash on Forrest Gunner.
It is the most amazing atmosphere down here at the start. Away in the distance, standing on his own, that's Richard Ford, the trainer of Forrest Gunner. His wife, Carrie, is on board. Their daughter, Hannah, is back at home watching on the telly. The horse is just gathering down here, having last-minute checks. Their tack, risk accessor over here, just having his girths checked. And David Pipe in front of us with Polar Red, just tucking in the surcingle into the girth to make sure nothing slips. And it is incredibly tense. I mean, just look at these stands behind us, absolutely packed. And all of them have been cheering Carrie Ford as she's come out, saying good luck and wishing her well. Big, big race in prospect.
There is Forrest Gunner. He is challenging for favouritism, a public gamble, supporting Carrie Ford. Now, the horse he's challenging for favouritism is Hedgehunter. There he is, Ruby Walsh on board this year. Last year it was David Casey. He fell at the last. He was a tired horse, Norman, but they'd gone too fast, hadn't they?
Yes, well, David Casey was under, well, he had a couple of options last year, and he left him just bowl along rather than having a big argument with him. And Ruby will be trying to get him settled, I'm sure, a little bit, and probably getting a little bit of room. But he's got a big chance. He's a year older. He might settle a little bit more.
But you know, the fact he was tired at the last year doesn't mean he will be this year. They were all tired at that stage.
Yes, that was the point I was making. Another horse that was there was Clan Royal, who was right there. And in many people's eyes, he was the unlucky horse of last year's race.
Yes, poor Liam Cooper, unfortunate to lose his stick and had his head down and was going straight for the inside of the chair instead of going round the elbow. How much it cost him, I don't know, Norman.
Yeah, very difficult horse to ride, this fella. So Liam Cooper, I think, did a wonderful job to get him as close as he did. But Tony McCoy on today, and he'll certainly earn his cash getting this fella around. He carries his head very low to the ground and gets low at his fences, but he looks fabulous.
But doesn't he look ready for the job?
Ready for the job. Well done to John Joe O'Neill. I'm sure he couldn't get him here any fitter.
There is the Gold Cup second, Take the Stand. That's a big run prior to the National.
Yes, but you see, he really belted the first 2 fences in the Gold Cup. If he did that here, I'm afraid he wouldn't get to the third.
Well, this is how close we are to the horses. They're just circling around behind us. Nick Gifford here, the trainer of Jolly Bay. You all right?
No. I'm feeling a bag of nerves at the moment, to be honest. There he is now when he looks at pictures, isn't he?
He does. He looks very well. I just saw you were helping lead him round. Is he getting a bit chewed up?
He does get a bit buzzed up now. That's the one thing I was worried about with the parade, that he's going to get on his toes a bit. I just hope Davey can settle him, because we don't want him herring down to the first.
And your first runner in the National, family steeped in Grand National history, though. Your father trained the winner with Aldeniti. Oh,
I don't want to think about it, to be honest. You know, if he can get round on the first circuit and avoid all the inevitable chaos, you know, we might start to get excited. But I'm a bag of nerves at the moment, really.
OK, well, listen, I hope you relax and enjoy it. Good luck.
Thanks, Claire.
Thanks, Nick.
That's Nick Gifford aiming to emulate his father's win with Aldeniti with Jolly Bay. But that is Timmy Murphy in shot on It Takes Time. And he had the choice, Norman, of which Martin Pipe runner he was going to ride. He's plumped for It Takes Time.
Yeah, a horse with a lot of class. He's ran well in some good hurry races. Not always a great jumper. They're getting very close to the start, Jim.
Now the starters calling them forward. They're under orders and away they go. In the 2005 John Smith's Grand National, spot the difference. It's the first away on the outside from Merchant's Friend, and up there too early is Colonel Rayburn for Paul Carberry. Double Honour is showing out with Astonville, and also there on the inside Binderee. Further back is Native Emperor as they run over the Melling Road, head towards the first. At 30 fences we join Ian Bartlett.
So they thundered out of fence number 1. Double Honours just about the leader from Colonel Rayburn. Lord Atterbury, Frenchwood's Creek are both fallers at the first fence, so Lord Atterbury down, Frenchwood's Creek is a faller as well, and those are the only two who fell at the first. Binderee, Colonel Rayburn, Double Honour, Glenelly Gale, Astonville. A bad mistake there as well, but it looks a bit for risk excess up. As they head down out of the open ditch, Glenelly Gale in the black, leading from Double Honour, Colonel Rayburn, Astonville, Binderee, Montes Pass, then Jakari on the outside, and they have all got over that. We have a faller before that, which is Bally Cassidy, who went before they got to the third fence. They're getting now over the fourth. Glenelly Gale is the clear leader. A few mistakes at the back of the field, but most appear over it as we join Tony O'Hare.
Coming to the fence before Beechers, Glenelly Gale in the lead, followed by Astonville in second. They're followed on the inside, over it by Double Honour, and just behind these out wide is Strong Resolve. Colonel Rayburn is towards the inside. Coming down towards Beechers, Glenelly Gale with clear advantage from Astonville. Then towards the inside, Double Honour. They're followed by Forrest Gunner making a forward move. And Glenelly Gale picks on landing over Beechers, but survives it. And bad mistake there by Europa, but they're all safely over and coming out of the Foynaven. Glenelly Gale, Double Honours in second, Astonville in third, Colonel Rayburn behind them, Forrest Gunner is next, then Monty's Pass. Strong Resolve wasn't too good at it. On the inside, Hedgehunter. And then Nil Desperandum, Merchant's Friend, Clan Royal in mid-division ahead of Funmore, then Ad Hoc. And behind these, towards the outside, is Inox as they come to the canal turn. And the leader, Glenelly Gale, Double Honour over second, Colonel Rayburn takes the third, Hedgehunter jumps up on the inside in fourth place as they turn now towards Valentine's, mistaken the back by Native Emperor. But at Valentine's for the first time, Glenelly Gale from Double Honour, Colonel Rayburn, Monty's Pass, Forrest Gunner, Hedgehunter, then Merchant's Friend as we join Darren Owen.
Making their way to the 10th, and it's Glenelly Gale who's making the running. Native Emperor's unseated its rider back in the field at Valentine. So this is fence number 10, and it's Glenelly Gale being chased by Double Honour. Then Monty's Pass, mistake there from Hedgehunter. Merchant's Friend was a casualty back in the pack as they go on now towards the ditch, and it's Glenelly Gale being chased by Monty's Pass, Double Honour, Clan Royal, Astonville. Strong Resolve is not too far away as they take the open ditch. Back in the field is Inox being chased by Ad Hoc. Hedgehunters to the inside, and then further back to Nil Desperandum, followed by Take the Stand, Fon Mortis next, then Just in Debt, Simply Gifted, and then Jolly Bay, Foley Pleasant. And after this one, as it takes time as they jump the fence before the Melling Road, and it's Glenelly Gale who's making it with Clan Royal to the outside, looking very keen for Tony McCoy. Break then of 3 lengths to Double Honour, being chased by former winner Monty's Pass, then the Grey for Scotland, that's Strong Resolve. Just in Debt is to the outside, they thunder across the Melling Road. They're on the racecourse proper, and it's over to Jim McGrath.
It's the leading amateur leading the champion jockey as they run now towards fence number 13 in the Grand National. It's Tom Greenall out in front here on Glenelly Gale. His first ride in the race, 20-year-old Tom from Tony McCoy, who's bidding win the race now at his 10th attempt. Then in third is just following Clan Royal is Double Honour. Further back is Monty's Pass in fourth, and further back in the field then Strong Resolve as they head up now towards the 13th. They're stretched across the track. Inox is not that far away. Take the Standers there as well as the leaders jump it well. Jolly Bay is back in the field. Forrest Gunner for Carry Ford, the big white face in the centre, just preceded by Ad Hoc. As they come now to the 14th, Glenelly Gale on the inside of Clan Royal clears it well from Double Honour in third. They're followed by Colonel Rayburn and Hedgehunter, and further back then is Monty's Pass. They're followed by Inox and Forrest Gunner for Carry Ford, right up there in about 8th position. They're followed by Ad Hoc, and out wider is Strong Resolve as they come now to the chair. And leading over at Clan Royal, got through on the inside to lead there from Glenelly Gale. The faller is Take the Stand as they head now towards the water. And it's Clan Royal and Glenelly Gale together. 4 lengths to Double Honour as they sail over it. Then Colonel Rayburn, followed in 5th position by Hedgehunter. Strong Resolve hit that very hard and lost ground. Monty's Pass is further back in about 6th position, followed by Carry Ford on Forrest Gunner, just in debt. They're followed next in the field by Inox out wider. Further back is Ad Hoc from Fonmore and Heroes Collage. Royal Clear from Simply Gifted. Further back in the field, Jolly Bay. Next Next is No Good from It Takes Time, and they're followed by Strong Reserve. 32 still standing. Folly President is next from Europa. Marcus de Burle is next from Bindery, and further back is Amberley House, then Nil Desperandum. As they head now towards the 17th, we rejoin Ian Bartlett.
Risk Access and win at fence number 2, but Clan Royal continues to lead him as they get over it from Hedgehunter on the inside of Glenelly Gale, and Montes Pass and Inox behind these. Lecoudra's really struggling at the back of the field as Clan Royal is over the 18th safely in front. The tail end is getting over it now. Ballybur Rash as well behind, so is L'Aventure split the difference. Jakari and also Lecoudre, but Clan Royal 5 clear at the 19th from Glenelly Dale. Then came Double Honour, Colonel Raven, Inox, Jolly Bay, Montes passing behind that is Hedgehunter, then Justin Dent, Royal Eau Claire. They come over the back of the field there. Lecoudre is the back marker as Jakari was pulled up before they took the 19th. The leaders are getting over the next one safely. There's one fell further back, but here's Tony O'Hare.
Coming to the fence before Beechers, and Clan Royal is the leader, being followed by Glenelly Gale, and there too Double Honour is gone. Double Honour's a faller there as they race on towards Beechers Brook. Clan Royal the leader. Hedgehunter on the inside, in the centre Glenelly Gale with Colonel Rayburn. Outright is Jolly Bay, and the loose horse causing problems up front, and they've gone right across. And Clan Royal is out of the race. They've stopped him. Clan Royal out of the race, knocked out of it by loose horses. Ad Hoc was a faller, and they're out over Beechers now. These stragglers just getting over. Ballybuck Russia refused at the back. Hedgehunter has slipped through on the inside to dispute the lead over the Foynaven with Inox. Behind these is Royal Eau Claire, and just behind these Justin Dett improved. Glenelly Gale is next, then Simply Gifted. Behind these Heroes Collonge, and then Forest Gunner, Monty's Pass. Behind these It Takes Time, and then comes Nil Desperandum and Europa, Colonel Rayburn and Fonmore, and then Strong Resolve as they go out over the Clan Turn, and Hedgehunter is the leader, followed in second place by Justin Dett, then Inox, then Royal Eau Claire. Behind these on the inside Glenelly Gale, rising to Valentine's. Hedgehunter with a 4-length lead from Justin Dett and Inox, and then comes Heroes Collonge as we rejoin Darren Owen.
5 to jump in the National, and it's Hedgehunter, a faller last year, who leads the charge down towards this plain fence. Inox for France down the outside. Royal Eau Claire and Heroes Collonge hunting up the pace. Red colours, white cap of Justin Dett. Simply Gifted is creeping closer. White face of Forest Gunner to the outside, and here's one of the last big tests. This is an open ditch, and it's 4 from home, and it's Hedgehunter from Jolly Bay. Hedgehunter the leader. Justin Dett, Heroes Collonge, Inox, Royal Eau Claire, Jolly Bay on the wide outside. Simply Gifted is snapping up their heels. Then Forest Gunner with the galloping mother there. Carry 4 to the outside. Colonel Raven's out of the contest. They jump 3 from home as they head on towards the Melling Road, and it's Hedgehunter who leads, being chased in second place by Inox, and then Heroes Collonge is next. Glenelly Gale is out of the race. Justin Dett's up the inside. Forest Gunner's got a few lengths to find. It Takes Time is creeping into the race as well. Von Mortar's been pulled up before the third last. They're on the race course proper. It's Hedgehunter, that's the one to catch. Over to Jim McGrath.
Any one of 10 horses could win the John Smith's Grand National here as Hedgehunter leads them there now with 2 fences left to jump. In second, Heroes Collonge. In third is Inox. Starting to get closer is Polar Red on the outside, a rank outsider. Justin Dett behind them. Carry Ford has had a magnificent ride here on Forest Gunner. They come up towards the second last. Hedgehunter for Ruby Walsh. 3 lengths in front of Inox, and also there is Polar Red. Justin Dett the inside from Royal Eau Claire and Simply Gifted. Forest Gunner coming there strongly on the outside. The big white face. Nil Desperandum is next from Heroes Collonge. They've got 1 fence to jump in the National. It's Hedgehunter in front from Royal Eau Claire. Simply Gifted and Inox just behind them. But Ruby Walsh has sailed over the last in front on Hedgehunter. He's 4 lengths clear now of Royal Eau Claire. Simply Gifted. Carry Ford is trying hard on Forest Gunner. Inox is behind them from Nil Desperandum. They're at the elbow in the National. Ruby Walsh is going strongly. He's out in front on Hedgehunter. He's 6 lengths clear of Royal Eau Claire and Simply Gifted. And Ruby Walsh is going to win the John Smith's Grand National on Hedgehunter. Fell at the last year, but too good for them this time. Hedgehunter wins it. A second Grand National for Ruby. Second was Royal Eau Claire. Third is Simply Gifted. Fourth is It Takes Time. In 5th place, Carry Ford on Forest Gunner. What a ride. They're followed by Nil Desperandum, Inox, Heroes Collonge. Further back then is Justin Dett, Amberley House. Bindery is no good. Polar Red, what a race he ran. Jolly Bay got very tired from L'Aventure. Then Monty's Pass, Strong Resolve. Further back, Spot the Difference, Arctic Copper. And further back, second last Europa. Last is Shamawan.
Well, Ruby Walsh getting congratulations from all the jockeys around, and what a fabulous bit of riding. Kept the horse well out of trouble. How unlucky was Clan Royal, and Tony McCoy got taken out by the loose horse, but this is the man who's done it. Barry Geraghty coming forward to say well done. Your second national. What a thrill, Ruby, what a thrill.
Jeez, yeah, Beach was frightened the heart out of me, but it was some thrill. He settled and settled and settled. And I said to myself, whatever happens, I'm not going to move until I get to the elbow. I got to the elbow and come on, and away he went. It's absolutely brilliant there.
He sprinted clear. I mean, in the end, it was easier than your last win on Papillon.
He's a proper horse. He's brilliant. Cheers, Lee.
Graham Lee coming up to say well done as well. Another former winner. He had a good ride on Amberley House. And Carrie Ford, well, she finished 5th in the end. Great bit of riding.
This is the second win in this great race for Ruby Walsh. What a horseman he is. He settled that horse on the first circuit. A bit of luck came when Clan Royal, that incident out there in the country, was going so well, and then with a loose horse in front, all sorts of mayhem. We'll have another look at that later. That was at Beaches at the second time. Willie Mullins, a triumph for him, from one of the great Irish racing families, and here he is, Willie. Look at him. He's out of breath. He's so shocked. He and his wife Jackie. A magnificent triumph for them. He does so well with these horses. He's handled many good horses over the years, but a thrill, the pinnacle to win the John Smith's Grand National. And the owner, Trevor Hemmings, he's been dreaming of this day all his life. The man who owns Blackpool Tower, reputedly worth 730 million. And here are the prices. Hedgehunter, the 7-to-1 favourite, has obliged in the National. Second, Rollo Clear at 40-to-1. Third, Simply Gifted, 66-to-1. And fourth, It Takes Time at 18-to-1. And fifth was Forrest Gunner. Carrie Ford, what a magnificent ride she gave that horse. It was an absolute gem. She had him up there all the way. She was well there in contention with 2 left to jump. Forrest Gunner, he battled on. But if you back Carrie Ford with on Forrest Gunner, just check with your bookmaker whether they were giving 5 places. Some firms were. There she is coming back. We think 20 finished, but we'll confirm that later. Carrie Ford, here she is, coming back after that magnificent ride on Forrest Gunner. She had him right there with a chance. But let's have a look at the winner, Hedgehunter. He fell at the last year. He was in 3rd place. He was beaten at the time. He'd run a bit too keenly on the first circuit. But this time, Ruby was able to just slot him in behind, to get him into a rhythm, to hunt him round on the first circuit. There he is shaking hands with everybody. He's a really good Aintree jockey, Ruby Walsh. He's won it twice now, and this was only his 5th. This was only his 5th ride, Ruby, in the National. He's won it twice, and he's done extremely well. Trevor Hemmings had two runners in the race. Europa was the other one, and I think Europa was the last to finish, 20th and last, but we'll confirm that later. Now the stable lass who does Hedgehunter is from Finland. I don't know her surname, but it's Mia, her first name, and she looks Mia Nimella is her name. And look at Ruby, he can't wait to celebrate. What a day. Absolute gem of a ride. I would say that if you asked him, put a gun to his head, and asked him, he'd say, well, I didn't really want to go on as early as I did. But this horse was in a real rhythm, and they just had to let him go when the race changed complexion at Beaches the second time. What a win, what a triumph. And there's Ted Walsh, father of the winning jockey, coming over, embracing the rider. And what a family they are, the Walshes. Great racing family from Ireland. Ted Walsh, of course, trained Papillon, Ruby's first winner. This is his second. We had 8 jockeys in today's race that had won this race previously. Ruby Walsh was one of them. Here he is coming back. He's second. He joins Carl Llewellyn among the present-day jockeys who's won the race more than once. Distances 14 lengths and ahead. For betting on distances, 14 lengths, the winning margin. There's Mark Bradburn on Lord Atterbury coming over to congratulate Ruby Walsh. And there's no disguising his delight after this fine victory. And Hedgehunter has been a remarkably consistent horse, and full credit to his trainer Willie Mullins, who's set out to win this race from the time that horse hit the floor at the last fence last year. He was aiming at this race this year. He gave the horse 5 runs over hurdles, and then his last run before this was in a chase which he won. And here is Willie Mullins, the winning trainer, coming over. Congratulations to the rider. A kiss for the horse. And he's had many good horses. It has one of the leading stables in Ireland. Florida Pearl, one of his great horses. Now, officially, there were 21 finishes, and the last horse to finish officially was Shamawan. So 32 Shamawan was the last horse to finish, and 21 completed the course. Europa finished 20th. So coming back into this unique winners enclosure, which will be used for the last time today. They're going to save this construction. We'll have a look at it soon. There's Paul Nicholls coming over. Ruby Walsh rides for Paul Nicholls very regularly. But this unusual structure, you can see them entering now, the winners enclosure. This will be kept and will be used as a museum. But there's Trevor Hemmings, the winning owner. He has fulfilled a lifetime's ambition today. This very wealthy man fulfilled a lifetime's ambition to win the Grand National. He owns Blackpool Tower, and he's bought many horses. All of them, everyone who buys a horse from him is told they must look for a horse with the scope to one day go over these big fences at Aintree. And that's exactly what they found when they found Hedgehunter. A horse who not only had that ability, but also the heart to take him over the 30 fences and to complete 4.5 miles at the highest level. An excellent performance, and look at him. Doesn't he look a fresh horse? He's finished a fresh horse. Magnificent performance. And there they are in the winners' enclosure. Ruby Walsh now posing for pictures, and an emotional moment for the whole family, as this Grand National victory means so much. In racing, there are better races, that's for sure, but this is a part of history, a part of sporting history. There's coming forward Irish well-wishers coming forward to greet this very popular winner, who went off the 7-to-1 favourite. He was available at 10-to-1 last night, and here we see the horse coming forward now. Ruby still posing for pictures. The winner scored by 14 lengths ahead between second and third, and 4 lengths back to fourth.
Great. Well, Willie Mullins, congratulations, fantastic. So many people in it. This must be such a special moment.
Fantastic. I mean, I never dreamed that, you hope all year that, step in, Trevor, you hope all year that you can get him here, and then on the day. And last week I had an awful scare. He had a bit of a snot on his nose, and I just said I'd say nothing to anyone and take our chance. We didn't work him all week. And the last 2 mornings here in the Gallop, the first canter he had since last Sunday, we just said nothing to no one. Myself and Mia, the stable girl, saw it and our vet at home. And I mean, we were dying all week hoping that it wouldn't get worse, but it got better. And you know, it's just fantastic. It worked. I couldn't believe it.
So you did have some concerns then today?
We had a few concerns, but
and Trevor Hemmings has joined us. Trevor, I know this has been the big ambition, hasn't it?
Yes. Maybe you're a little of an omen, is that right, Sue Barker? Maybe you're an omen. The weights lunch.
That's right, we sat next to each other, didn't we? We talked about Hedgehunter.
That's right, yeah. So I can't. The feeling is incredible. The achievement of the horse, trainer and jockey you've just seen. That's all I can say is I'm a one lucky man now.
Yeah, because particularly after last year and the heartbreak of seeing him fall at the last.
I was more worried about that last fence today.
He jumped around the twice, first and second time round.
Yeah, no, it was a good job he did, yeah, but at the same time it's a wonderful feeling. And it's credit to the entire team. And Willie Mullins in Ireland, and it's all my team, whether they're in North Cork, near Dublin, or whether they're in Gledhill in Lancashire. Or the Isle of Man, it's fantastic for every one of them. They're all the team, and this is the end. This is the one result we wanted.
He's a super-looking horse, Willie. He's so brave. And what about Ruby Walsh as well?
Well, Ruby, you know, David gave a fantastic ride last year. We learned so much from what David told us, and you know, David got broke up, couldn't ride a horse this year. But it's, I wish him the best, and you know, everything just went right. Until last Sunday, I didn't tell you the horse had a bit of a dirty nose. No. But we were hoping that he'd get over it, and he did. And here's the man who did the job.
Smash it.
Hey, Ruby, congratulations. Everyone's saying you just looked so cool out there. Were you as cool as you looked?
Not really, no. I was doing a fair bit of panicking. Didn't really suit me when Clan Royal got ran out of Beechers. I was kind of left in front. I hadn't planned in my head to be in front till I got to the elbow if I was everything going well, but he jumped so well and travelled so well, and I was just trying to hang on till I got to the elbow before I went anywhere, and then he sprinted.
I couldn't believe you were going so well. I mean, I just looked down and I said, I cannot believe this is going to... I mean, Clan Royal must have been very unlucky. He was travelling. Yeah.
Very unlucky.
So,
his
mother?
Is that your mum there? And I noticed your dad also was there walking. What was he saying? Was he telling you it was a perfect race or what?
I just said well done, but we kind of had one plan in our head, and it kind of went to plan, and jumped super. I think it was Valentine's first time he hit a fair old clout, but after that he was super all the way, and I kind of was looking at the big screens, and we straightened up to see how they were going behind me, and it's a half unbelievable.
And how tough also to sort of be on the favourite as well, and added pressure.
He didn't know how price he was.
Absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely terrific. Did you know that there were concerns about the horse last week, Ruby?
No, I never interfere with that. I only want to ride him. We're going across the ring, and he says, I never saw him look as strong. I never saw him as calm. So I tell you what, have that conversation with James and Ash. I don't want to know anything.
Absolutely fantastic, Willie.
My phone is going to explode.
I'm sure it probably is, because also, I mean, your sort of history in the National, you've been so unlucky, and then suddenly you get one round and it wins it.
That's it, our first runner to get around from 5 runners, and but Hedgehunter, of course, just a bit unlucky, got tired last year, and you know, anyhow, it was, you know, fantastic. I just want to thank Trevor and all his team, and Ruby, David Casey for his input into it, but I think most of all, thank my father for teaching me how to train racehorses.
And Paddy's here, is he?
He's here, yeah.
What's he had to say to you?
Just said well done.
Yeah. Fantastic, congratulations, enjoy it. Thank you.
And of course, Paddy and Willie Mullins. Paddy, of course, father of Willie. You must be a very proud man, Paddy.
Well, yes, I am. It's very seldom that happens to the likes of me. And
you said before we were joined that Hedgehunter should not have been 7-1, but even money.
Well, he won like that anyway.
How confident were you?
Well, bar a fall, I thought he couldn't be beaten.
And that was the confidence you had?
I had, yes.
Why, Paddy?
Well, he had done everything last year, and he was a year older.
Yeah.
And I think with the clear round, he was a certainty.
You trained many good horses yourself. Hurry Harriet to win the Champion Stakes, Vintage Tipple as well. Of course, the Great Dawn Run, who won the Champion Hurdle and the Gold Cup. But Paddy Mullins, of course, it's the Mullins dynasty. It's a wonderful story.
And this is a very sweet win now. And There's no doubt about it. Willie and Jackie take all the credit.
Well done, Paddy Mullins, and a quick word from Minister John Donoghue. This is a special day for Ireland.
It's wonderful. This is the fourth year in the last 6 that an Irish trained winner has won the Grand National, and I'm particularly pleased for the Mullins family.
Well done to Hedgehunter.
And Ruby Walsh, a very proud father of the winning trainer. Well, with me, the 3 big guns of British racing, finishing 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Paul Nicholls with Royal Eclair. You must be thrilled with that.
Very thrilled. Big weight. Kristen gave him a great ride. It's just nice to get one in the frame, and with the weight, he ran a great race. Really pleased with him.
All 3 of you had a few runners, 4 runners each actually. And John Joe, you must have been the most unlucky with Clan Royal. Before we talk about Simply Gifted, poor old AP.
Yeah, he fell off him, didn't he? Yeah, it was just unfortunate, really, but that's the national.
I don't think he's very happy about it. He's got his head in his hands. Another desperate day for him.
Oh, well, it could be worse. We're here to live another day.
And as far as Simply Gifted's concerned, he must have surprised you. He was about 66 to 1.
Well, we were very sweet in him all along, really. He had a grand prep and he was schooling well at home. He had 2 nice runs, and 2 nice races, and we were very pleased with him. So we're delighted the team run as well as they did, yeah.
And Martin, what about your runners? It takes time doing best of them in 4th.
Yes, delighted with his performance. Timmy gave him a great ride, jumped well, gave us a great thrill.
You'll be back again next year?
Hopefully, why not?
And Paul, I should think you will be as well, won't you?
Hopefully, yeah. He's a young enough horse. He did that well, and ideal. Just, he's always going to be carrying plenty of weight, but a little bit faster ground would obviously be a little more of an advantage, but very pleased with him.
OK, glad you all had great runs. Thanks.
Dramatic race it was for the 2005 John Smith's Grand National. Norman Williamson and Richard Pittman are with me to look back at the rerun. Let's not hang about. Let's see what happened to your selections right from the very start. Well, there they go to the start. What pace, you reckon, Richard, to the first?
Oh, that's pretty moderate for a Grand National. I think they're all aware that the ground is just softening up a little bit. That's just a nice, easy pace. Slowest we've seen for a while, Norman.
Yeah, they didn't go mental. Spot the difference. Cross-country horse specialist. Well, he's up there on this side making the running. Double Honour, the grey horse with the blinkers down the inside, and Strong Resolve this side of the grey horse, heading down to the first. And Colonel Rayburn, the huge horse we were talking about earlier, he's banged down the inside with Paul Carberry, the dark-coloured horse. But going sensible.
We lose 2 horses at this very first fence. Lord Atterbury, last year's 3rd, who made mistakes all the way round but finished 3rd. He fell, and Frenchman's Creek unseated, so 2 gone at the very first fence.
Oh, I think that's fairly harsh for Frenchman's Creek.
Was it?
Yeah, I think
pretty
so.
harsh. He was as good as down. You can see Lord Atterbury in the middle.
In front, though, but that was technically an unseated.
It's a technical unseat, which is quite harsh on the jockey involved, isn't it? This is a great view. You can see them taking the first. And it was a sign of things to come. We lost a couple of them. This is the jockey cam on board to take the stand.
That's Risk Assessor, isn't it?
That's Risk Assessor and Alan Crowe. And I have to say that was unseated, Richard, wasn't it?
Yes, I agree there.
That was at the second that we lost Risk Assessor. We also lost Valley Cassidy at the second fence. We can take.
Heading down, this is the 3rd fence, the big ditch. And Colonel Rayburn, Glenelly Gale actually takes it up at this stage, and Colonel Rayburn down the inside and Double Honour in the middle, and you just get to see the winner. He's down the right of your screen, bang down the inside. Carrie Ford is the horse with the white face. Just
okay, and at this point Glenelly Gale is in front, and we don't lose anything at this particular fence. He's out in front with his big white noseband.
Yeah, but lovely, easy movement. He must be one of the last sons of Strong Gale around now. But look, isn't he loving it? Look at the stride on the horse here. They basically like top of the ground, Strong Gales. But he's absolutely loving it.
He's still in front, and Double Honour is on the inside, the grey. He's jumping really well, and there was a couple of fiddly errors in the rear from Forrest Gunner, but largely he ran really well for Carrie Ford.
Well, just have a look here as the leader comes to this. He's ears pricked. Tom Greenall, the youngest rider in the race.
He just This is the 5th fence, and again we don't lose any at this fence. You can see from the above angle. Jolly Bay makes a little bit of an error at the back. Amberley House is right at the back as well. It wasn't the plan last year.
Now you can see the winner. The actual winner is 5th or 6th down the inside. Ruby Walsh. He actually gave him a super ride, as did Carrie Ford on Forrest Gunner. She had him settled well for 2 keen horses. This is Beaches. Glenelly Gale.
Oh, huge jump.
Pecks a little, but most horses jumping well.
It's Europa, I think, makes a bad mistake at that. In the other colours of the winner, Trevor Hemmings. He's with a distinguishing white cap, and there's a bit of on the near side when you see it, that quite a few horses get close together towards the end.
You can see the nod from the leader there. This 6'9" drop does just make...
Colonel Rayburn. There's the winner just passing us, just barely nodded.
There's a bad mistake from Europa going through.
Also Arctic Copper, a bad mistake.
And Who's Like a Lounge very far back at that stage.
Another look at it. Glenelly Gale leading over, just pecks a little bit.
Yes, but recovers well. His nose didn't touch the ground. Double Honours running and jumping a super race there, isn't he? And back in third is Astonville, Peter Skew's horse, but it pulls up a little later on.
So Europa is the one that makes a really bad error at that point. Trevor Hemmings won't mind about that. He did have the winner in Hedgehunter. This is the 7th fence, and we don't lose any at this point, Foynaven.
Smallest fence on the track. You can back in 6th position on the outside. Tony McCoy and Clan Royal getting very, very keen with him. Ends up almost pulling too hard and pulling himself to 2nd place. It's the fine haven again, Richard.
Yeah, and they've railed it out so that horses can get to this turn on the turn, so that they're not jumping too straight.
It just gives them a little bit of room. There you see old Bindery jumping along the inside. Take the stand back there in the yellow colours. He's still travelling okay, and he goes later on.
And look at the stripes we saw there of Polar Red. He runs a superb race for Tom Malone, Lady Clark's colours.
Because at this point, Carrick Ford has got Forrest going to settle in about 5th place. This is the canal turn where they have to go perpendicular.
The only one here, I think, that gets it wrong is Jolly Bay. There you see him jumping out pretty straight.
Well, he just got into the bottom a little, didn't he?
And also Jacari ported him just a little bit wider than the others, but...
And towards the rear, Ballygo Rasher as well wasn't entirely fluid, but Glenelly Gale really does jump it well, as does Double Honour.
Yeah. Eros Collonge comes from a long way back. He's right at the back there, and yet comes on to run a super race.
A bit of a Native Emperor as well. He makes a bit of an error right out the back. If you keep an eye on that one. Dominic Ellsworth on board. This is the final angle of the canal turn.
Well, at this stage, Tony McCoy, of course, totally unaware of what's going to happen. He's midway down the field, and we'll see later on very, very clearly that his saddle slips back almost to the point of coming off.
Yeah, they'll all be happy at this stage, getting settled down, and most of them jumping well. Ruby Walsh down the inside, just gone out of your screen. He's probably got the perfect position all the way through the race. We lose one there at the back.
That's Native Emperor who goes
Native
at that
Emperor
one.
went there, just had no chance, got too low.
Dominic Ellsworth's 3rd ride in the race.
Still Glenelly Gale leads, jumping from fence to fence. What a great thrill for young Tom Greenall riding him, and Double Honour in 2nd. Now that's the one that the winner almost went. Hedgehunter very, very lucky to stand up at that one, and we lost Merchant Friend.
Merchant's Friend is the one with the cheek pieces that you saw taking a crashing fall there, Noel Feely.
But look at McCoy now, Lydia. We can first see he's running away here. The horse jumps for fun in 2nd place, but it's evident very shortly that his saddle has gone back to dangerous proportions.
And the question has to be whether he'd have got round. I mean, he's taken out in the most awful, unfortunate circumstances, which we'll see in the closing stages, having to negotiate because of a loose horse. Here's another angle.
And you'll see coming into the picture on the right of the picture, Timmy Murphy on It Takes Time. He's ridden the most perfect waiting race.
Absolutely. To be quite honest, I think most people rode a super race. There was no real excuses, all jumping well and very, very sensible.
And the biggest mistake that the eventual 5th Forrest Gunner makes comes at this fence here. There she is, Carrie Ford, lying in 4th, just jumping now.
Stood off too far.
Yeah.
But when we do see this again, it's getting more and more evident the precarious seat that McCoy has got, because he's got the breastplate on the horse to stop it going right back. Just look where the number cloth is, almost on the horse's quarters.
You can see the white Gert, Richard, that's his pad inside the Gert, but we get a very good look at it going to this chair and at the water, and away from the stands we'll see just how far back it was. But the horse far too keen, pulling very, very hard, and he's trying to get him settled behind Glenelly Gale, and not really working for him. But
we lost Astonville just before the 30th, I should say. He was pulled up.
You can see he's just going out now.
If we look back, 1-2 in 6th place down the inside is Hedgehunter, the winner, just following Colonel Rayburn, and Inox on the wide outside with the blinkers ran a cracker.
Isn't that Monty's Pass in 4th place, the first time we've had a good look at him?
Monty's Pass again ran a super race for a horse that pulled out stiff this morning. What a great horse to jump so well.
Yep, strong resolve back there in about 6th, but he doesn't see it out. Huge jump there.
Huge jump from Glenelly Gale in the front there.
A whole lot of horses. There were 32 still standing as they passed the water, which is tremendous, isn't it?
Heading towards the 14th now, and Glenelly Gale still in front. Clan Royal is in 2nd, Double Honour in 3rd. No fallers at this fence, but the loose horses are about to cause quite a few problems.
And you'll see the jockeys taking evasive action as well. We've got Tom Greenall in the red hat here on the right of the picture, Tony McCoy in the white hat next to him, and then we've got Double Honour third, and Monty's Pass back in fourth place.
And heading towards the chair, Tony McCoy elects to switch to the inside on Clan Royal, the inside of the long-time leader Glenelly Gale. There he is, there's the loose horse out to the front, and Tony McCoy switches to the inside there.
But what a ride Tom Greenall's having, you know,
yeah,
just doing well and giving this horse a great ride.
This is the chair, and Clan Royal absolutely stood a mile away from it, and so did Monty's Pass.
There goes Take the Stand, the Gold Cup second. Double Honour, there he goes through, he makes a bad mistake at the chair. Take the Stand, the Gold Cup second goes, there he goes in the yellow colours, he's unseated.
And Amberley House, 2/3 of the way back there, never got into the race, did he?
Now Amberley House right out the back, another look at Double Honour. There he is on the left-hand side, he makes a terrible mistake at the chair.
Well, I think he just drags his feet through it, you know. It doesn't actually impede him.
No, fair enough, that's true. And here comes Take the Stand in the yellow colours. Disappears down into the hooves.
Not a nice place to be.
And Leighton Aspel
really stood off this. In fact, Tony McCoy stood off a million miles
a mile away. That's Double Honour just landing on top of the fence, and that's what happens when they catches his stifles and fires him out on top of his head. But wonderful, wonderful shots. And we'll probably get to see Take a Stand. That's Monty's Pass just going over, standing a mile away from it. Inox just behind in the visor. Just Take a Stand on the inside. You can, there you go. You see him go. He just fired Leighton Aspel right out over his head and gave him absolutely no chance. Royal Eau Claire going through and Jolly by, and also Binderee.
Well, we can actually hear from Leighton Aspel himself, just to hear how it feels to be catapulted out of the saddle at the chair. Poor him.
Yes, we can hear from Leighton exactly what happened. Leighton, take us through it.
It was going well till then. Look, you know, I destroyed every fence, but there was nothing at the chair. I done nothing, and he done less. And we just chested it, and propulsion just sent me forward.
To be unseated is a little bit unfair with a chance like that.
Well, you know that's the racing.
How well were you going at the time?
Well enough. They didn't go very quick, and I was still travelling well, but who knows what would have happened.
At least you're back, Leighton. Thanks.
Yeah.
So we rejoin them heading towards the water jump, and at this point, watch out for the grey Strong Resolve, because he makes quite a bad error here. There he goes.
Dropped his hind legs. He went in close to the fence, put a short stride in, and just landed with his hind legs in it.
We get a closer view of it this time.
Big jump from Double Honour, former flat horse. He's performing tremendously well. Tony Dobbins starting to creep in it. The white hat, red colours, the stars of Justin Dett. He gets a good ride. Old Binderee just dropping back through the field now.
Yeah, conditions just a little bit quick for Binderee, but this is where Clan Royal gets very, very keen with Tony McCoy. So he decides to let him go to the front and doesn't have much of a say in it really. He's very, very keen. And Glenelly Gale still up there in second, and Double Honour third. Now you see Hedgehunter just inside Colonel Rayburn, creeping closer. Monty's Pass behind him, Gary Ford on just behind him at Forest Gunner, and Inox on the wide outside.
Yes, Inox, one of 6 J.P. McManus horses, but the drama will be unfolding in 5 fences' time. Or 6 fences down here. At this moment, he's absolutely cruising, Tony McCoy, isn't he, on Clan Royal?
Very, very keen, and jump super from Richard all the way. You know, it's very disappointing for him.
Fonmort on the right of the picture, we hadn't seen him at all, and we don't see much of him again.
No, ultimately he pulls up, but he had to jump quite well. But we don't lose any fallers at this particular fence. First fence of the second circuit.
Well, just 3 from the back, you know. Tom Malone was there on Polar Red, and yet he gets bang up to the race later on.
And there is
the winner just creeping closer behind the loose horse, bang down the inside. All streaming over. There's old Binderee, former winner of the race. I'm sure Carla Wellen had a great spin on him, but just getting a little bit slower. That spot the difference. Jumpier than Jakari, a big disappointment. He was a big fancy for some people, but never enjoyed. Now, interesting here, Richard, you can see Tony McCoy's saddle going further back. You can see the white, the girth is hanging loose. The star single, I believe, is broken, and a big worry for him, but still giving him a ride and jumping super. Glenelly Gale just behind him. There's Ruby creeping closer on the right-hand side, just inside the grey horse, and having a fabulous ride on him.
Double Honour starting to drop back at this stage a little bit, but this is a good pace now. They're going faster here than they were the first time.
Prior to that fence, we lost Jakari. He was pulled up at fence 19.
Do you know what? Why this saddle's probably gone back? The horse, Clan Royal, is jumping so boldly. He's almost jumping through the girths, isn't it?
Absolutely, but he landed on top of the chair a little bit, and he actually might have pulled the girth back a bit there. Now, already here he's having trouble with the loose horses. The loose horses making him very, very keen, and he's trying to get him back and forget about him. But fair play to the horse, he shortens up and pops it nicely. A good shot of a man riding well. There's Hedgehunter down the inside of Double Honour.
And this is where Andrew Thornton's race ends on Folly Plaisant. He falls out the back. We can get a very good view of it here, because he's got the rider cam. This is Andrew Thornton's own rider cam.
Simply Gifted just going through. Oh dear. That's what it's like when the world goes upside down. Merchant's Friend is one of the loose horses up front, and who's to know what drama is going to unfold from here, Norman?
Absolutely, but Tony McCoy was in a very, very difficult position.
Double Honour going.
Double Honour goes there. I'm afraid it was unseated. Very sorry to Paddy Brennan. We have to call it unseated. But gave him no chance. Just down on his nose.
Le Coudray, also the top weight, also pulls up before that fence.
Now, I believe Ruby Walsh lost his iron at that. We better not keep going on about how good a rider he is, and we better give him a little bit of stick. He must have made a bad mistake.
Just start to watch this, though, Norman. Look up ahead now, as Clan Royal is going to be interfered with by the loose horse. It's either Merchant's Friend or I don't know what the other one was, but it pushes him right into the corner.
He had absolutely no chance. We'll see. There's Conor Rayburn almost refused and barely got over it, but we'll have a better shot at this, and
we lose 4 at that particular fence. Ballybow Rasher pulls up. There we are, having a close look at it. This is Tony McCoy's dilemma. Right, Norman, you are Tony McCoy at this point. You're approaching the fence. Talk us through it.
You've absolutely no chance. You don't really know what direction the loose horse is going to take. He can see that horse. Then this other horse is bringing him straight across. Now, the boys behind Ruby Walsh and the winner, you can see the horse's head pulling it up in the air. Tony McCoy has fired straight into the fence. But here's the winner jumping, landing on the inside. It's absolutely... it's split decisions, Richard, isn't it, really? And Ruby Walsh, he was far enough back to get through and jump through to lead.
But, it'd be worth seeing this again, because Tony McCoy, well, we won't see it from this shot because he's gone into the corner, but McCoy was going the right way. The loose horse was going wide and then followed Merchant's Friend across the fence.
And again, it's a horse with headgear that's run across...
Well, sheepskin side pieces, yeah. That's still some drop, even though this has been evened out.
So we lost Ad Hoc at this fence. He fell. Ballybow Rasher was pulled up before Beecher's Brook at the second time. Clan Royal is put down as a refusal, but you saw exactly what happened to Tony McCoy there. And Marcus de Beaulay was unseated at Beecher's here, the grey horse from Ireland.
Now, you see, the loose horse is taking McCoy wide. He's trying to pull back to get to the right side of him, and would have been all right, but for Merchant's Friend, who's running ahead of them and invites the other horse to go. You would not wish that on anyone, would you?
That's a great shot of exactly what happened to Tony McCoy. Absolute misery for him. The worst possible thing.
Yeah, it's absolutely dreadful for him. But listen, he's done everything else. He'll be back next year with a chance. But Hedgehunter has gone to the front and absolutely cantering. Ruby, we were speaking about him for the past 2 days, not moving a muscle up in him, and has him jumping perfect.
And Johnny Bay has got into the action now. You look for the blue colours of David Dunstan having his first ride in the race. All sorts
we almost lose spot the difference there, but he just pops over in last place.
We don't lose any at the 23rd.
Hedgehunter travelling keen in front, and Inox, Jolly Bay again goes wide. We saw him do the same the first time at the Canal Turn, but
and funny enough, Norman, he got in close again there.
He did.
The first time. There's old Bindery just hacking around behind them.
No fallers again at the Canal Turn.
Not a good shot. A good shot of Ruby, giving him an absolute perfect ride. And Carrie Ford popping over there in front of Forrest Gunner. He's ran a cracker. And Timmy Murphy at this stage just creeping into it, and it takes time. He's given him a fabulous ride. There's old Lamberley House.
You'll see it towards the rear. Fulmore jumping really, really well, and his race eventually ends. Like he's pulled up later, but he has jumped these quite well.
You could see clearly there Jolly Bay putting in an extra stride and getting into the bottom of it. Timmy Murphy going the short way round in the Johnson colours. Amberley House just jumping now, just in front of Bindery, 2 former winners not in contention.
Great feeling for a jockey at this stage. You've totally settled down. You now think you've a big chance. Ruby Walsh must have been absolutely thrilled. Probably a little bit worried that he was in front sooner than he liked, but horses jumping from fence to fence for him.
Look at Carrie Ford. She's in exactly the right position because she's trying to save the suspect's stamina there. She's ridden a great race.
Yeah, she gave him a fabulous ride. We all thought he'd probably be a bit too keen with all the runners, but she settled him in and got him jumping. But here's Hedgehunter in front. They all beginning to creep up. Royal Eau Claire getting in entered on the outside. Simply Gifted just getting it. And there's Timmy Murphy creeping along. And Colonel Rayburn, I believe, was pulled up just before that fence.
Just in debt with the white hat on the inside, red colours. Tony Dobbin having a superb ride.
And this is where the race ends for two other horses. Fulmore is pulled up before the 28th, and Glenelly Gale, the long-time leader, is also pulled up at this point.
Look on the right of the picture, the white hat back in the blue colours, David Johnson. It takes time. Timmy Murphy scraping the paint, going the shortest way and getting there. This is really building for a race.
And Carrie Ford, with big face, Forest Gunner, the eventual fifth. She's buried in the middle of that pack, and eventually she'll switch wide to make her challenge, Norman.
Yeah, she did. She did absolutely nothing wrong on him. And Paula Red, a real outsider. He's ran a cracking race. He's just coming around the outside of him for young Tom Malone. Jolly Bay is second last, and he's just feeling the pinch a little. You can see him beginning to spread out. You don't want to get as far as the second last and fall over. And Ruby in front, he's absolutely cantering, double handful. He just doesn't know when to press the button.
And look how many horses are in with a shout at this point.
It's tremendous. 21 finished, don't they? All jumping well. One we haven't mentioned is in the red colours, white sleeves, Nil Desperandum. He's run a super race. Look on the left of the picture. From the right there, you've got Tony Dobbin and Justin Dett just starting to weaken. But at this stage, if Hedgehunter keeps his legs up, he wins.
Yeah, he's absolutely cantering, and it takes. We saw Richard Dunwoody do it a few years ago on Mini Homa to jump the final fence and actually take a pull. It takes a lot of balls to do it, and one man has got him as Ruby Walsh. He's given his horse a fantastic ride. But that's Hedgehunter, Simply Gifted, jumping Royal Eau Claire just alongside him. All these horses have ran out of their skin, really, but there's only one winner. He's absolutely cantering.
You kept saying up to that point, oh, keep hold of him, Ruby, keep hold of him. You were right in the race with him.
Yeah, I did. I thought the only way he'd get beat is if he actually went for him. But when he went for him, he picked up. And I must give David Casey a mention, because he got this horse schooled around here last year, and he's a lot to do with this. He's looked after this horse all his life, and a great day for the Mullins family.
The saddle slipped back on this fella too. Just look at this, where that is. That's gone fair back. And a great ride from Christian Williams. His first ride, finishes second on Royal Eau Claire.
There it is. There's Ruby Walsh. That's how it feels to win a national for the second time, because of course he's won on Papillon.
And you know, it's only his fifth ride to have won 2 Grand Nationals from 5 rides. Tremendous, isn't it?
He's had 2 fourths as well from all
2 fourths
rides.
as well, and I don't believe that's all luck or good horses. I think that's just bloody good riding. You know, it's a pleasure to watch him going around on horseback.
Skew was saying going in all week, Skew's been saying, and drawing attention to the fact that Ruby Walsh, how motionless he is going into fence, and you really saw it with Hedgehunter at the last here.
But look at that emotion. It's very hard. Few people will ever know it, Norman, will they? So, tremendous race again.
Very, very dramatic, wasn't it? Lots of things happening. Forest Gunner, Carrie Ford equaling the best finish of a woman.
Yeah.
Fifth. Rosemary Henderson was 5th in 1994 on Fiddler's Pike. Well, let's have the 1, 2, 3, 4 of the race. Trevor Hemmings has finally won a Grand National. Hedgehunter, ridden by Ruby Walsh, his second win. Willie Mullins was the trainer. He's a 7-1 favourite. He was a faller at the last year. He was a winner this year. Royal Eau Claire was second at 40-1. The Gold Cup fourth for Christian Williams, his jockey. Paul Nichols, his trainer. That's much better from his type runners in this race. In third, Simply Gifted finished best of John Joe's quartet. Probably not expected beforehand, 66-1. And in fourth was It Takes Time. He finished the best of Martin Pipe's quartet. Forest Gunner, there he is. He was fit. That's equaling Rosemary Henderson's best ever finish by a woman. Carrie Ford has equalled that. Fiddler's Pike was 5th in 1994. In 6th was Nil Desperandum. In 7th, Inox. In 8th, Heroes Collonge. In 9th, Justin Dett. Last year's winner, Amberley House, was 10th. The 2002 winner, Bindery, was 11th. Is No Good was 12th. Polar Red was 13th, a big run from him. In 14th was Jolie Bay. In 15th, Laventure, the only mare in the race. In 16th, the 2003 winner was Montes Pass. Strong Resolve, he made a mistake at the water. He finished 17th, eventually the grey. In 18th was Spot the Difference. 19th, Arctic Copper. 20th, Europa. And last of the 21 finishers was Chamois.
Well, with the second, third and fourth, Timmy Murphy just weighing out for a later race this afternoon. But first of all, Christian Williams, second on Royal Eau Claire on your first ride. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's great feeling. He's run his heart out, and all he does, just wants to please you every time he goes out there, so it's just great to be associated with him. And it's great performance under Limestone Town as well.
Did you start dreaming for a moment?
Well, the winner's always going well, so just trying to stay in second.
Maybe better luck next year, but well done this year anyway, Christian. Yeah. Brian, you're a sort of veteran of this race now. You've ridden it 5 times. What was it like to be on Simply Gifted, a horse that was a chance ride for you, sort of?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Gave me a great ride the whole way around. To be fair, he never missed a fence. It was great, brilliant, super.
Did you imagine that there'd be so many horses in with a chance? You know, admittedly, Hedgehunter was going better than the rest, but plenty of horses in with a chance late on in the race?
Yeah, it was strange really, but there was loads of us turning in, you know, but I suppose I didn't think I would be anyway.
What did you think about the incident, looking back on it with AP McCoy and Clan Royal?
Well, it was just desperate hard looking, I'm on it. Desperate.
Well done anyway.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, Carrie Ford finishing 5th. Richard Ford here as well, who I know was incredibly nervous watching the race, but you just loved it, didn't you?
Oh, I loved it. It was tremendous, Claire. Yeah, thrill of a lifetime.
And he made just a couple of little errors, but generally speaking, he was great.
Generally, he was brilliant, yeah. Obviously, better class of race as well. He's been here the last 2 times and never just able to fiddle away. A couple of times he just had to reach for a fence or two, and very long at the ditch after Valentine's, and then a little bit long at the chair as well, just scraped over the chair.
But actually, as you came across the Melling Road, and I must admit, from where I was standing, I couldn't see how well Hedgehunter was going. And I said, come on, Carrie, yeah. I mean, you were right there.
Yeah, he was right there. I mean, to be honest, he was on vapours, really, from the Melling Road, and it's all down to his huge courage that he kept tabs with them, going to the last, and was still in contention at the last. But he was up and down on the spot from the last, you know, he just didn't quite get home.
Richard, proud of her?
Chuffed, absolutely chuffed. Right around the horse. Everything went right, went to plan. I mean, there was always a little bit of a doubt whether he'd just quite get home, and he hasn't done, you know.
And Ginger only finished 10th with Amberley House. Have you had a word with him?
Yeah, no worries. We had quite a laugh coming in here because we shared a golf buggy to come into the course, which was quite a scream. But Ginger come up to me afterwards and said, geez, Fordy, I thought I was going to get a cold bum there.
Exactly, we all thought you might win. It was in danger of happening. Great ride, and I know everyone was cheering you back. Well done. But also here, the father of the winning jockey, Ruby Walsh, the winner of the race that's just happened, coming in behind us. But Ted Walsh, Ruby's father, great bit of riding, wasn't it?
Well, it worked out well for him. Everything worked out. Now, he had the look of the race. Horse jumped great, travelled well. I mean, he was lucky to be on him. He gave him a nice ride, but it was a very proud moment. It's hard to win a national, and for him, he's won too. A great day.
Well, you should be very proud of him. We'll have a look now at the presentation, because Ruby very much a part of it, and trainer Willie Mullins and owner Trevor Hemmings and Lord Darsby on the left there helping to make the presentation. The first year the Grand National has been sponsored by John Smith's, and that is Trevor Hemmings. He tried for so many years to win this race, and finally he's done it. Hedgehunter winning impressively in the end.
And to the winning trainer,
Willie Mullins, we mentioned before, had never before had a horse complete the race. Hedgehunter had come closest for him when he got as far as the last year. But for Willie Mullins, the proudest moment of his career as he comes up to receive the trophy. And a great moment. It's worth an awful lot of money, the Grand National. The owner picks up £304,430 for taking it. In total, it's worth $700,000. Most valuable race in jump racing. And there is Ruby Walsh. I think he enjoyed that.
I was watching the race here with Scoo. Scoo, put into perspective just how good a ride was that from Ruby?
He is a fabulous rider. We've been saying all week that he's magnificent over fences. When you watch him, his hands are always in the right position. That puts his body position correct, and it allows the horse to get to the right angle to jump. But I suppose the story of the race, apart from Ruby winning, is poor Tony McCoy, isn't it?
Just the highs and lows every year, isn't it?
That's right. It just doesn't. I mean, champion jockeys, I wasn't lucky enough to win it. John Frankham never won it. John Joe O'Neill never won it, and now poor Tony McCoy is struggling as well. I mean, I'm sure he's got plenty more opportunities yet. There he is. I mean, having a chat to Ruby there. Very, very difficult.
And it's not your fault as well.
And it's not your fault. And this race, as I said before to you, is on a different level to anything else. The adrenaline kick, you know it's in the public domain, so much bigger than everything else. You want to win it so much. You want to be able to prove yourself around here, and he deserves to do that. But it just wasn't to be today. It is very difficult.
Thanks, Hugh.
Well, an absolutely fabulous race, but the bookmakers have took a cane in, Angus.
Absolutely, and even when there's an outsider, it's got a royal name and a royal wedding. And those that fancied Forest Gunner on the Betduck Exchange, you got 5 places, and with the Tote and several others, Forest Gunner finishing 5th. That'll be a costly error for them, but the favourite wins the National. Rough Quest, Earth Summit, and now, of course, Hedgehunter. A definite big day for the punters.
So once again, we have a terrific story here at Aintree. More reaction to come a little later on. But looking ahead to tomorrow, and this is what you can look forward to on Sunday Grandstand. The action starts at 12:30 on BBC Two. You'll be able to see the Spanish Motorcycle Grand Prix. That's live from Jerez. Amateur boxing, the Four Nations versus Cuba, and also Rugby Union, the British Lions Tour preview. Of course, the squad is about to be announced. That's 12:30 tomorrow on BBC Two. So, as I said, still to come, more reaction from Hedgehunter's win at Aintree. But now let's catch up with the football results and stories now. It's time for Final Score.